Okay, hey all, I'm going to be working through number 9 on WebAssign 3B. Okay, so I chose this one not because it's especially difficult, but just because it's a different approach to this type of problem. So most of the problems are you get an equation and then you have to diagnose the asymptotes, the intercepts, any holes, all of the qualities. Well, in this problem, it's backwards. They're giving you all of these qualities, asymptotes, intercepts, the hole, and you have to find the equation. So it's the same technique, but it's just sort of the reverse direction. All right, so just be aware that you could do this problem even without viewing this video. If you understand the previous material, you're just doing it kind of in the reverse order. Okay, so the first thing listed to me are the vertical asymptotes. It says x equals -7 and 3. Okay, so vertical asymptotes come from the denominator of a rational function. So if -7 is an asymptote, that means x, change the sign, plus 7 is a factor. Factors are quantities that get multiplied, or expressions that get multiplied. So I'm grouping them together so that I can multiply it with the next factor. If 3 is a vertical asymptote, that means x, again, change the sign, minus 3 is a factor in the denominator. Okay, it does say that there's a horizontal asymptote at y equals 0. I am going to skip that piece of information and come back to it. Okay, I'm not ready for that yet. The x-intercept is listed as -3. X-intercepts come from the numerator of the rational function. The same way in a polynomial, all your factors are x-intercepts. So if -3 is the x-intercept, again, change the sign. X plus 3 is the appropriate factor. So let me check off what I've done so far so I don't forget to go back and do that horizontal asymptote piece. There's another piece of information given that says f of 0 is -2. I'm going to return to this one in a moment. And then there's a hole at x equals 4. Holes come from canceled factors. So the factor canceled, that means it must have been present in the numerator and in the denominator. Again, notice +4 is the hole, so x minus 4 is the factor. The whole rationale is if I were to take x minus 4 instead of equal to 0, that -4 would move to the other side and become a +4. That's why the signs are changing. Okay, that's just an aside. All my work is here. So, all right. Let me return to that horizontal asymptote. Horizontal asymptotes come from looking at the degree, and then there's 3 different cases depending on what's going on with the degree. So I have that the degree of the numerator, so I'm using n of x to represent the numerator, is 2. There's an x and an x. There's 2 x's. The degree of the denominator function, so using d for denominator, 1, 2, 3 x's, is 3. So 3 is greater than 2. The denominator, the bottom part, is larger than the top part. So this is guaranteed to happen for free. Anytime this is one of our cases, this means you have a horizontal asymptote at y equals 0. Done. Okay, if the inequality were the other way, there'd be no horizontal asymptote if the numerator is bigger. And if they're the same, that's when you have to look at leading coefficients. Okay, so leading coefficients, I don't have any of those yet. I have to use this piece of information. This function has the same horizontal asymptotes, vertical asymptotes, x-intercept, and holes as infinitely many other functions. Those infinitely many other functions just have different coefficients out front. I have to figure out which coefficient will allow this to happen. So I'm just going to put an unknown value c, representing coefficient, in front of this function. So here's my function. If I want to determine what c is, this is the ordered pair I have to use. Remember the function definition? It's all about inputs and outputs. Okay, input 0, output -2. So my function has to input 0 and output -2. So if I input 0, give me a moment, I'd like to switch colors. For emphasis, if I input 0 into this function, here's what's nice about the whiteboards. Input 0, if it's an input, that's my x value. The output should then be -2. output. That's what the whole function will equal at the end. That's your f of x, that's your y value. And now I just have to do the arithmetic to then isolate c. So I'm going to continue that work right down here. -2 is still the left-hand side, right-hand side. C times 3 times -4 is a -12c. Denominator, 7 times -3 times -4. The -3 and -4 makes a 12 times 7 is 84. So I'm still solving for c. So maybe I'll multiply both sides by 84, then divide by 12. So I'm going to have doubling 84 is going to leave me with 168. And that's going to be negative times -2 equals -12c. Divide by -12, divide by -12, divide by -12, and I get two negatives make a positive. 168 over 12. Yeah, that will reduce. Oops, sorry, you're probably having trouble seeing that. That will reduce. I just have to figure out how does it reduce. Let's see. A 4 goes into both, so that's going to leave me with 42 over 3, and 42 divided by 3 is 14. Okay, so that is my c value. So what do I type in? What is my answer? Well, it's this function, but with the x's, and then my coefficient of 14. So 14 times the quantity x plus 3 times the factor x minus 4 over the factors x plus 7, x minus 3, x minus 4. Do not, this is important, you made it to the end of this video, I'm going to save you some time, some struggle, some frustration. Do not try to expand this. Do not try to FOIL. Don't try to make it look nice or like some sort of answer that you may have Googled. This is fine. This is acceptable. I don't want you wasting your time on the test trying to do all this fancy arithmetic and algebra. All I want to do is know, do you understand how to get asymptotes, intercepts, holes, and what to do with the coefficient? If you get this far, that's 100% credit. Don't do more work than is being asked of you. It does not say expand. It does not say write as polynomials. You can leave this factored. Okay? There's your answer. If you haven't already noticed, any sort of red number on WebAssign is completely randomized. So the numbers I have used may be slightly different from yours because of the red randomization happening. If you do have questions, feel free to post them to Schoology. So that way, if I'm available, I'll try to answer it right away and everyone has access to the answer. But if I'm not available, maybe a classmate who's up at 2 a.m. or something will be able to answer you much more quickly. Okay? Take care, guys. Good luck.